Hi guys, my name is Veronica, and today I'm going to be talking about supporting characters. I'm going to go ahead and put out the disclaimer that I'm a little bit redundant in this video. I actually already filmed it just to find out that my dog was barking in the background the whole entire time, so I'm going to refilm the whole thing now. And I found myself every single time saying something about, like, I like this character because they're funny or because they're level-headed, and so I'm going to say that a lot. But sometimes it's just hard for me to explain why I like a character. I also have that problem with books. I have a hard time explaining why I like a certain book. But I'm sure all of you can relate and won't judge me too hard for it. So, let's just get into it. The first character that I have is Gat Patel from We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. If you follow me on Instagram or if you watched my top 10 most disappointing books of 2014 video, then you will know that I wasn't a huge fan of this book. I thought it was a good book, I just didn't think it lived up to its reputation and all the hype that it was getting. My main problem with the book was that I felt like I couldn't relate to any of the characters, especially the main character. The only character that I found myself really liking and being able to relate to was Gat. Gat is down to earth, and I found myself just kind of being really happy whenever Gat would come into the story because I'm like, finally, a character that I like, because I think he might have been the only one. Next I have Jordan McAfee from The Pact in 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. Jordan does have a point of view that is occasionally represented in chapters in these books, but I still feel like he's not a main character because the other characters are just a lot more prominent. But Jordan is a lawyer, and if you watch Law & Order SVU, you may know the character Rafael Barba. He's the ADA, and he reminds me a lot of Jordan. He's just very snarky, he's straight to the point, he's got a dry sense of humor, and he doesn't put up with anything, and that's what I love about Jordan's character. My next character is probably my first ever favorite supporting character, and that is Emmett Cullen from The Twilight Saga by Stephenie Meyer. I have been in love with Emmett for so long. He is my #1 fictional boyfriend, always has been, always will be. He's just freaking hilarious. Like, everything he does and says is funny, and anytime it starts to get a little heavy, Emmett comes in and lightens the mood, and every single time he speaks, walks, anything he does, I'm like, Emmett. If you watched my either November wrap-up or my top 14 of 2014, I talked about this character a little bit, and I'm just going to expand on that now, and that character is Gale Hawthorne from the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. I feel like even though Gale is supposed to be one of the main characters, he's kind of forgotten sometimes. If you didn't know, I was originally Team Gale when I read this series, and then I reread it and I was like, never mind, definitely Team Peeta. But that doesn't mean I forgot about Gale. I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to choose one or the other, not just for Katniss, but in general. They feel like, oh, I have to be for Peeta in every situation and only like Peeta, or I have to only like Gale. And most of the time people pick Peeta and then they just forget about Gale. They kind of write him off. And I don't think that's okay, because Gale is a very important character. He means so much to Katniss. He's shaped Katniss, and he's done a lot for her, done a lot for her family. And I just feel like he's very significant, and I don't think people should write him off the way that they do so frequently. My next character is one that I'm sure has never been mentioned before when talking about supporting characters, and that is Mason Ashford from the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. Mason is maybe in 2 books. I think he's in the first one. I know for a fact that he's in this one. And he is the most innocent, likable, sweet character that you will ever meet. There's never a time where you're like, Mason, why would you do that? Or Mason, shut up. Or Mason, stop doing that. You never think that. I just wish that we could have spent more time with him. Kind of go along with that, my next character is Eddie Cahill from the Vampire Academy and Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead. I feel like Eddie is another one that people don't really think about a whole lot. He's there a lot of the time, but you never really think about him being there. But then when you think about if Eddie wasn't there, the series would be a lot different. He's like the definition of a supporting character to me, because that's what he's there for, is just to support the story, support the other characters. You use Eddie when you don't have somebody else to do the job. My next character is Christina from the Divergent trilogy by Veronica Roth. One thing that I really like about Christina is her character arc, because she comes into the story as this really annoying, can't keep her mouth shut, candor transfer initiate, and most people are like, oh my god, what is wrong with this girl? Especially 4. But then by the end of the books, she's changed. She's become this really strong, really reliable person who even 4 has become incredibly fond of. I really admire her strength throughout the series because I feel like a lot of the time when you read, you're reading about the main character, and so you primarily think about their struggles. But if you step back and think about all that Christina goes throughout this trilogy, it's incredible. She has experienced so much and lost so much, yet at the end, at the very end, she is still standing there. She is still strong, and I admire her. The next character is Newt from the Maze Runner trilogy by James Dashner. Newt is another character that he's just got a good head on his shoulders, and I can really appreciate when he comes into the story because you know he's going to get stuff done, he's going to help solve the problems, and he's going to be rational about it. And it's another character where I wish we didn't have to leave off with him the way that we did. My last character that I'm going to talk about is a little bit different from the rest of them, and that is Wesley Lincoln, or Link, from the Castor Chronicles by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. In this case, Link is not a character where I like him because he's strong, or level-headed, or calm, or any of the above. He's absolutely an idiot. He's incredibly stupid, but he is for sure the comic relief. He is hilarious, and when things get dark, he comes in and does something stupid or something funny, and it lightens the mood. I believe that there's a spin-off trilogy. I think the first one is Dangerous Creatures, and it's about Link and Ridley. Is that her name? I don't even know what her name is. But I'm really interested in reading that because I'd like to read some from Link's point of view, or at least more about Link. That is all that I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your thoughts about these characters and other characters that you feel like are supporting characters that need recognition, because they do. Every character deserves to be heard and their story deserves to be shared. Wow, I'm really empowering today. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!